Hello everyone, in this video we will be discussing about validation request classes. Basically, what is validation request classes? If I open my VS Code and let's go to our controller, let's say what is the login controller? Here it is. We put our all validation logics in this function, right? Or you can say, sorry, it is method. So we put our all validation logics in our this handle logging method. So you can, instead of doing this, you can create a request class for do all the validation stuff, right? You can use your validation stuff in your method, obviously it's totally fine, but for organizing your code you can use a class based method also. As a beginner you can always use this method. You can validate your data in your method, it's totally fine, but we will see another advanced method that we can implement for more flexibilities and make our controller more cleaner. Okay, so let's make a request class. For request class we can use a Laravel artisan command. Let me show you. Let's open our terminal. For that, let's go to root, select your project, then we'll right click from our mouse and we have the terminal. Let's close it up. Okay, from here we will run a artisan command. The command is php artisan make request, and we have to specify the class name. The name will be, let's say, login request. Now let's enter. You can see we generated a request class in our app http requests. Now let's go to our code editor and see if we have the class. Let me collapse all. In app http, now we have another folder called requests, right? Let's open it. You can see we have a new file called login request.php. If I open it, you can see here is some codes. Now we will understand how can we work with them. I will go to my login controller first. Let's go to it, and I'll cut my first array, I mean the set of rules that I created. Okay, then I will go to my login request class that I just made. In here you can find a method called rules, right? Get the validation rules that apply to the request. So instead of this array, we'll replace with our array. This is our validation rules that we have created in here. Let me comment it out for now. Okay, now our validation rule has been placed in the rules method, right? Now we'll go to our controller, and in this request, like in previously, you know that we are injecting this request class in this method, right? So instead of this request, we will add our own request, login request. Okay, you can see VS Code is suggesting me the class name. Click here and the class will be automatically imported in the top. Now again, I'm saying that previously we use this request class and inject it in our handle logging, right? For now, we, instead of this, we are using our own created class, right? Now if I go to my front end and refresh and submit, you can see it giving me 403. This action is unauthorized. Why? Because if I go to the class, the request class, there is another method, it's authorize. if you see the comment, determine if the user is authorized to make this request. So basically this method is validating the request. So we didn't cover authentication or authorization stuff yet. We will talk them about later on, no need to worry. For now, you just have to replace this false with true. Okay, you don't need to know how it's working right now, because as I said, we didn't work with authorize yet. We will talk them about later. You just have to return a true instead of false. That will fix that error. If I reload again, or yeah, let's go back and refresh. Now let's submit again, and you can see we are getting the validation error. If I go to my controller, login controller, you can see here isn't any kind of validation in our controller method, but we are getting the error still. Okay, that's mean our validation is working. Now here's the thing, in previous video we add some custom validation text, right? Now how can we implement custom validation text in this request class? And you can see in class we have only two methods, right? So where we will put our custom validation text, right? So for this we have to create another method. I'll go at the bottom, and let's see, I'll add another method called messages. Okay, in messages we are overwriting our default validation message like before. If I go to my controller and comment it out, uncomment it, and copy this array that we previously created, I'll remove this text from here. Now let's go to our request, login request class. In here we'll return that array, return this array. Let's end the line, and you can see this method and this method are kind of similar. In rules method we are validating our requests and specifying our rules, and in messages method we are adding our custom messages, right? And nothing changed. We will work like the same way we worked in our previous video. Everything will be same, but we are just dividing our rules and messages in other method in this request class. Okay, pretty simple, right? Now let's go to our front end and submit again. Now you can see instead of default validation error, we are getting our validation error. The username field is required, and if I go here, you can see our first validation custom validation text was the username field is required. So that's mean our validation class is working. So that's how you create custom validation classes for more flexibilities, or you can say more cleaner code. Like now if I go to my controller, now you can see the controller is way more cleaner than before, right? So this is the reason why we create a custom request, because sometimes we need to make our controller more slim and more cleaner. So we use custom request for handle our request and validate them. And if it feels complex for you and you want to validate your data in your method in controller, it's totally fine. You can do it also. You don't need to use the request class. The reason of this video is just showing you there is other ways to do the same stuff. So I think you understand the concept. For this video, I think that's it. See you at the next one.